so cool. Thanks for having me. I
Of
was like,
course, I know
damn, I wish I did a little bit of research.
it's cool. I know, like you said, you're not like the biggest basketball fan, but I know you've attended a game recently or whatever. You got a new album, so at least we could definitely talk a lot of music
Yeah.
stuff too. So it'll be fun. Um, but the first thing I like to ask people as they come on is, I'd love to know what you're listening to.
Ooh. Um, I haven't been listening to a lot of music just because I've been in sessions the last couple of
Hmm.
days and then my ears get kind of fried, so I tend to go talk radio.
Yeah.
Just kind of KPFK in LA. There was somebody reading a story about their first husband, finding out their first husband was like a test subject for like transhumanism.
Oh, interesting.
But musically, the thing that's been popping into my head, sort of rent free, as they say, has been Alex G's new record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's so good, and I never like really I sort of like accidentally got into getting into Alex's music,
Hmm.
but I feel like he just got his thing down so dialed.
It's also like kind of in so many different like it sounds like a different artist sometimes, like from
Yeah,
track to track.
yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
But like, there's a through line.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm trying
definitely.
to bring my seat down, but yeah, there's a through line, and he has like he has. I'm curious if there's a parallel to this in basketball, but he has such a melodic sort of tendency style,
Hmm.
and I think that really you can identify it,
Sure.
instantly, and even when it sounds like it's a different artist, and I
Yeah,
feel like it's such a sign of just being like you in your own lane. You know what I mean?
definitely. It's I feel like he'll treat his voice differently from song to song, but it's still him, you know?
Yeah, which I love that. There's
Yeah,
that one that's like the old timey kind of like boat song, I guess.
totally. I had Noah from Runner on not too long ago, and he was talking about like it's like there's one song on there, it's like he just straight up sounds like an alien on it.
So cool, yeah,
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 it's a good one.
a lot of style.
Definitely. And two, like even like, it's not just his album. When I go back to listen to his older stuff, he just goes kind of everywhere. And, some stuff it's like I think my association with him always was like it's this sort of like bedroom pop vibe. And he does way more than that. Like he goes heavy sometimes. He really sprawls in his sound.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's funny, I read the review, like the Pitchfork review of the record before listening to it, which I normally don't. I like, I don't, it sounds like I'm outing myself as like an avid Pitchfork reader, but I don't really read it. I don't pay attention, but I just sort of stuff, someone sent it to me,
Sure.
and, and the review was so moving. Like, it actually colored my experience of and I remember reading there was a line in it that was like, his like major label debut, and I was like, "What is that?" And when I listened to it, it didn't sound like that much different to me
Yeah.
than the last one. Um, and yeah, but then like the deeper I listened to the lyrics, and then I was like, "Oh, it was a major label deal. It was like
Hmm.
RCA or something like that." And yeah, I don't know. It was cool. I was surprised that it's cool when music like that can get so massive
Yeah.
because it's so underdog to me.
Sure.
Uh,
I
and
definitely feel like even like, I'm not the biggest fan personally of like Turnstile, but like what they're doing is really interesting.
I've
Like
never heard that.
they're like more like they're mainstreaming hardcore music, which is really
Cool.
interesting.
That's cool.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's never been done before,
No, probably not. It might have been, but I don't know. See, I don't really
to
know
some
what
degree.
mainstream is like,
Right.
The other day I was on driving around listening to the radio and somebody said that they were like going over the charts, like the top 10 Billboard charts. And I really don't pay attention to that stuff like unless it finds me.
Yeah,
But I it somebody said that the Deftones were like number 3 or something.
they're back.
I was like, "Damn, that's some people are out there just listening to the Deftones."
Yeah,
Like a
totally.
lot of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
I think there's like a lot of nostalgia for them, and um, their new album sounds just like they used to be, you know?
You listen to it?
I listen to it a little bit. Yeah, I don't often find myself in that lane, but when I do, it's like
Yeah.
it's a good go-to.
Where do you live?
I live in Chicago.
Okay, cool. I thought so. Did you grow up there?
Yeah, yeah. I grew up here, but I lived in New York for like 4 years.
Okay.
Um, yeah, love Chicago. There's a good scene here. I know you're in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely spanning the coasts. How do you like I know the music kind of scene in LA can be all over the place.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love LA. I like
yeah,
I sometimes it gets the proximity to like fame or
hmm,
I guess money is what people mean when they say that, at least when I think fame, I think
sure,
the proximity to like funding.
yeah,
That can be I know that that bums people out. That seems to be the thing that people who leave get sick of, but
mm,
I've been fortunate enough to sort of, dance with the devil a little bit, just in terms of like, you know, doing sessions and
yeah,
being hired to play on probably the artists that drive other working class artists crazy. But I think the music scene here is really welcoming. I was just talking to a friend the other day about that. And because somebody was kind of talking shit about LA, and I was like, I feel like it's obviously not for everyone, but once you find your people, like it can be so just sort of a cascade of welcoming.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and there's such amazing. I mean, there's a lot of Chicago transplants here who I feel like have
mhm,
done that a lot too, made their own scene. But yeah, I've found it to be really inspiring and kind of you can get it's like a buffet, you know. You can kind of get anything you want.
yeah,
There's experimental music, there's noise music, there's amazing singer-songwriters, there's the pop stars, like there's a lot of jazz and kind of everything in between and
hmm,
and I feel fortunate to be able to like kind of move between a couple of them. And anytime I sort of enter a new sect, because LA's so big, like Chicago,
yeah,
like LA's so big, and anytime I find myself in a new kind of realm that I hadn't spent that much time in, people are just so nice.
yeah,
Like, and people just want to make stuff together,
for sure. Yeah, I
which can be
definitely and
overwhelming.
yeah, I get that. In my time out there, I've definitely like you meet so many different people in so many different realms and different types of music, but I feel like it's really cool when a lot of that overlaps too.
Totally, yeah. There's a lot of yeah, they fold into each other. There's a lot of
Yeah.
cross contamination. But then, like just yesterday, I was at a session the other day, and this producer Ben, and like I've never heard of him or met him, and like somehow we have so many mutual friends, and he was talking about all these people, and I was like, where have you been? Like, it's just some people. Because I also think people don't like to like leave their bubbles sometimes too. So yeah, but I love it, and it living here has really like challenged me as a musician too. I
In what
wonder,
way?
like when I first moved here, it was 2015, and it was like 10 years ago now,
Hmm.
and I kind of had a little bit of a like chip on my shoulder, I think, when I left my small town in upstate New York,
Yeah.
and I definitely felt like a big fish there, just in terms of like what I was trying to do.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm gonna go out to LA. You know, I had just started playing with Kevin Morby, and I was like, my ego was nice and big at the time. This indie rocker wants me to come on tour. Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It's like, you know, I it was definitely more glamorous than I thought it would be, but looking back, less glamorous than it could have been. Uh,
Sure.
but when I got here, I definitely I like immediately met some like incredible guitar players, and I was like, damn, I have a lot of work to do. Like, I kind of thought that I could hang or at least fake it in
Hmm.
some musical scenarios, and just some of like these people have been playing, and like their parents are all like in the industry. It's a different scene, and
Yeah.
music is still like part of LA, like the music industry, like capital I, and just you know it's different when people have been playing music their whole entire lives and their family plays music,
Hmm.
and so it was humbling at first when I got here, but it inspired me. I was like, I gotta. It kicked my ass a little bit, but I was like, I gotta go to the shed like in a new way.
But it's interesting though, because it's like you've already talked about it. Like it feels like you've created your own kind of musical family in its own. And
Totally.
I feel like you do tend to like work with like you've got a huge like kind of cast of people that you work with, whether it's doing sessions, whether it's, you play in touring with Perfume Genius, and then you also do your solo work. So like, is there, as you approach that, is there like a difference, in like collaborating? Do you prefer collaborating with other people, or do you like working in your kind of like own lane, or is there like a benefit to having both those worlds?
Yeah. I mean, it's a question I get asked a lot, and it depending on where I'm at, sort of
Yeah.
in the on the spectrum between like putting my own music out or working with other people, the answer changes because
Yeah.
right now you're catching me like sort of at the beginning of a touring cycle of this like
Hmm.
new album, and I it's a way more work when it's
Yeah.
just me. And when I have to kind of stand behind what I'm trying to say musically and stand behind lyrics, and I have to be a band leader, I gotta kind of like keep the ball up. I've been watching a lot of Friday Night Lights,
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, have you
The
watched?
show, yeah.
Yes, yes. Completely obsessed with it. I'm late, and it's
I've
something
actually never watched it. It's always been on the list, but I do love the movie.
dude, you have to watch it.
Okay.
Like, especially because you're into sports.
Sure.
Like, obviously football, basketball, pretty different, but like,
Yeah.
what would the equivalent of a quarterback be on a basketball team?
I guess probably a point guard because
Okay.
they're directing like the plays. They take the ball up court.
Okay. And they like call out plays and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So when I'm in like hand habits mode, I'm like in QB, like point guard.
Yeah.
Like I need to have my head in the game. I have to know how to keep my team together.
Hmm.
And as you are hosting this podcast called Indie Basketball, I'm very much in an indie realm when it comes to touring. Like we're not on a bus, we're in a sprinter. Like if we're lucky, we're in a sprinter. And so you got to really keep morale up.
Yeah.
Like and I told you before we got together that like, you know, I went to the Sparks game and it was my first ever like professional basketball
Hmm.
game. And I I was surprised that there weren't that many people there. Like
LA, I think in particular, is still kind of weird about WNBA for some reason. It's growing so much though.
that's what I heard. Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
was it was Sparks versus Liberty.
Okay, and they're defending champs. So
It was an amazing game. I got
yeah.
so into it, man. I was
Yeah.
like freaking out. Like,
Awesome.
yeah, I'm sad we missed most of the season, and but it gives me the winter to kind of like do a little bit more research,
Yeah.
and my new drummer who's been playing with me, Sam KS, is a fan of your podcast, and he
Oh,
was
great.
like, he was like, let's get into basketball. He like grew up going to Lakers games and stuff.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I do feel like there's a lot of late stage basketball fans. I feel like it happens, and
Yeah.
it's fun to be like, all right, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna pick a team. I'm gonna like start following because if I can give you my pitch for basketball, I love this. There is a storytelling nature within basketball and like the seasons, and
Yeah,
not just the NBA, the WNBA as well. Like,
yeah,
and I feel like there's these interpersonal dramas, and there's storylines, and there's peaks, and there's valleys, and it really is a drama. And in addition to being a highly competitive athletic competition,
yeah.
it has multiple levels to it.
I love it. I like the storytelling aspect, and that's like sort of what got me into baseball. The times I've gotten into
Sure.
baseball, I remember I was on tour with Kevin Morby, and
He's a
we were
huge Royals fan. Yeah.
huge Royals fan, and exactly, and we were driving from San Francisco to LA. I think it was right after playing like Woodsist, and when Woodsist was still on the West Coast,
Hmm.
I think, and it was the year that the Royals were going to the Super Bowl, or sorry, the World Series.
Yeah, yeah. It was 2016 or 2015, something like that.
2016 or 2015, yeah, exactly. And I remember like I was in the back seat trying to like listen to some music or whatever,
Hmm.
and they were listening to the game, and I was so like, ugh, like why do you guys care about this? So like I felt so family vacation, but like
Yeah.
then they started telling me about the narrative and the stories and like the players and kind of gave me the rundown. And by the end of the drive, I was like, oh my God. And it was something happened where I think one of the pitcher, I think on the KC Royals, like his dad died during the game.
Hmm.
And they were trying to figure out like if it was the right thing to do to tell him that his dad died, like during the game or like
Yeah.
wait till after the game. And I was like, so in just because I think from an outside perspective with all sports and especially people who like didn't grow up getting into sports or
Yeah.
whatever, I think it's easy to forget that they're people with like complex lives
Absolutely.
and in the interpersonal sort of realm is present in the field or on the court
Hmm.
and yeah I'm curious. So do they? This is gonna really out me as like I know the least about
This
basketball.
this is great though. This is what I want to do this more and like talk about like also like kind of not to push my love of basketball into people, but to help like talk through it with people who are like want to know more.
Yeah. So do in the I know that like football does this where they like trade players.
Hmm.
Does basketball do that too?
I would say, if anything, basketball may have the craziest trade situations happen.
Okay.
Um, it's very dramatic, and especially there's these key milestones throughout the year, and even the off season where like trade deadlines happen. There's a lot of movement. There's also, during the NBA draft when there's new players entering the league,
Right.
that's
That's
a
not,
time when there's tons of trades happening.
okay. And
Um,
that's how a lot of the drama can happen, right?
Definitely. And I'll share one crazy weird trade
Please.
related story, which was this was maybe also about 10 years ago at this point, but there's a player, DeAndre Jordan, who
Right.
was on the Clippers at the time and he had a good team around him, but he was becoming a free agent. And there was rumors that he was going to sign with the Mavericks instead of going back to the Clippers. But and as this was happening, there were stories coming out that the Clippers players went to his home and they were holding out in his home, like locked in, and they weren't going to leave until he stayed with the Clippers.
Oh my
And
God.
people like couldn't get in touch with him. That was like such a weird situation, but it was like, I love this stuff. It's like there's so much drama.
Because like they needed him. It
Yeah,
sounds.
they're like we got to give it one more year. We have a good core. Like we can do it next year.
So what happened?
He went back to the Clippers.
Wow, okay. Are the
Crazy.
Mavericks Minnesota?
Dallas.
What's the Minnesota team?
That's the
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. Yeah.
So I have to name drop something.
Do it.
My cousin plays for the Timberwolves.
No way,
Andre Jackson.
dude. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I like actually didn't occur to me until just now to mention that. And yeah,
Like
I haven't seen him in
currently Timberwolves player.
yeah, a current Timberwolves player. He's like a cousin by way of like
Yeah.
my adopted family, but
Okay.
I grew up watching him play basketball, and he really was like a virtuoso, like
Yeah.
prodigy, like wonder child, and um, yeah,
That's awesome.
and it was kind of annoying when he got drafted, because I used to be the most famous person in sort of our family, and now it's like it's not even in the same realm.
Uh-huh.
They're like, yeah, we
So
don't care. Like he's in the or he's in the NBA. Like,
yeah. So even like, obviously basketball was always so important in his life. Did when you were kind of like growing up, did you like get a glimpse into that at all?
absolutely, yeah. And actually, a kind of crazy like basketball was in that side of my family. They're not like my blood family, but I grew up sort of in this family that
Yeah.
that took me in when I was like 12, and
Okay.
all these Italian people.
Yeah.
And like my cousin Trisha is my cousin Andre is sort of my second cousin. So my cousin
Okay.
Trisha.
Got
Um,
it.
but Trisha's brother actually played basketball in high school, and this crazy thing happened where he was in high school, he was like kind of a star too, and he had a brain aneurysm on the court at
Hmm.
school and died.
Oh
Like
man.
fucking like, just like a random act of God.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
and he was number 44, everybody in my family who played sports would always be number 44 after that,
Wow.
like, and they started like a foundation for a little while. His name was Chris Altieri, and
Mhm.
we used to go, and all my those cousins played basketball, like my cousin Gina, like all the girls played basketball. They were like really really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got to glimpse it, and honestly, it really like I feel like was like a grounding force in their life,
Yeah.
and I was so bad at sports, so like I just never really tried. Like I remember actually we were at the Chris Altieri like memorial game that they would put on sort of for him, and then it was like a fundraiser for this foundation that helped other young kids like go to basketball camp and stuff,
Yeah.
and I remember just like sitting like, courtside, just like watching the game. And like, as soon as I sat down, like the ball hits me in the face, like it's sort of bad luck with sports, but I did get
Right.
to see how it was like really, really grounding and yeah. And I was around it a lot. So it's a very comforting sport to me in that
Sure.
way. Yeah.
And like as far as music goes, like I assume you've been playing music most of your life, right?
Yeah. Since I was like 15. But like
Yeah.
I played drums, in elementary school and the
Sure.
record. Yeah, I was always
Yeah,
kind
yeah. I was also a snare drum in the elementary
Oh,
school.
hell
Yeah.
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 Dude, after the Sparks game, the marching band, like there was like a drum line that came out, and I was
Oh,
like, that
sweet.
was me. Like I did that, like, and
Yeah.
it was really nostalgic in a lot of ways. Did you
Awesome.
play
Yeah.
marching band?
I did not. No, I gave up on the I didn't want to be in band class. I don't know why, but I didn't want to be in band class. But eventually, I picked back up like guitar and bass and whatnot. But
Yeah. Do you
I
still
did
play music today?
not like too much. Like, I play at home, but I haven't been in a band in a while.
Yeah.
Um, I do feel like though, when it comes to like music and sports, it does seem like high school is that time where people like kind of make a decision on what path they go down. Um, and clearly, obviously for you, like music was your thing. Like it was basketball was never a path that you even considered. But I played basketball through like my sophomore year of high school, and I also was like learning in eighth grade is when I started really playing music. So like I made that choice where like I kind of honestly did neither.
Yeah.
But like I knew I'm tall, I'm 6'5", but I wasn't good enough to play basketball, like especially competitively. So like I leaned more into music. I played in a band. I went to shows all the time, and like people just make that decision a lot.
Absolutely. It does split, yeah.
Yeah,
And like aptitude, I feel like
sure.
I'm really competitive, and just by nature, I grew up with like hot-headed Irish Italian people who are like really encouraging in their special way. And
Yeah.
but I was like too small for sports. Like I wanted to play football, like because I
Yeah.
my brothers both played football, and my because of marching band, I was like so invested in the football
Sure.
game, both socially and from a sports
Yeah.
perspective. Um, and but obviously I couldn't play football, and even if I could, like
Right.
get crushed. Like
Do you watch football at all now?
I will, not really. I don't watch any sports like religiously. I think just because I've just been so in record
Yeah.
cycle, and
Right.
although it'd probably be great to like decompress a little bit, um, I still
Football's
haven't
such
been.
like a holiday sport too. It's like when you're with
Yeah,
family, it's going to be on TV.
yeah. I mean, but the just Chicago was playing the other night, and I watched them. I think it was last night.
Yeah, they're on Monday night. Yeah,
Oh yeah, today's Wednesday. And they were playing the Vikings, I
they
think.
were. Yeah, it was. It's a tough relationship with Chicago Bears and their fans, and in general, like that is another thing too. It's just sports fans in general. Like relationship with your team is so volatile.
Yeah. Well, I can tell. Like, I mean, Chicago fans seem really passionate, but
Yeah, we're not
football,
we're not Philly fans. Philly
right?
fans go crazy.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, Dodgers fans go nuts.
that's
Like,
true. That's very true.
really. And, my publicist is a huge Dodgers fan, and like, we
Yeah,
got a dinner the other day, and like, he was like visibly stressed because he was like, the Dodgers are playing tomorrow.
sure.
And, like, I actually haven't been following it all, but
So
yeah.
when you went to the Sparks game, like you had a great time.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so, so fun. I went with like three of my closest friends, one
Yeah.
being my partner, and I mean, I was just having a blast. Tickets were super cheap too for
Hmm.
some reason, and I like got a huge beer and like chicken tenders, and I was like immediately invested, like, and the energy was just so great, and also the crowd was like almost all lesbians. Like it was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so amazing to be at a sports game and like see people like that I normally hang out with.
Sure.
And yeah, and we got on the Jumbotron, which was
Oh,
like,
nice.
yeah, pretty cool. It
Hell
was
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, and we actually left before the end of the game, and the Sparks lost, but Liberty was like amazing team from what
Yeah.
it seemed, at least to someone.
Sabrina is one of my favorite players.
Okay, what's her last name?
Ionescu.
Okay, Ionescu.
She
It was
was she's the blonde point guard for them.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
she's great.
What do you like about
She's like definitely has like a level of like swagger to her game, and like she's a great 3-point shooter. She did a couple years ago, they did like during the NBA All-Star game, they did like a one-on-one 3-point shootout between her and Steph Curry,
Oh wow.
which was really cool to have see
That's
that
cool.
that crossover like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Do they do that every year? Like with both?
that was the only time it ever happened, and I think they tried to do it with Caitlin Clark this past
Yeah.
year,
Right. She's at
and
Liberty too, right?
no, she's on the Indiana Fever.
Oh, okay. I keep
Um,
hearing
yeah, she's a generational player. She is truly like Steph Curry. Like she's
about
unbelievable, but she turned it down. She didn't want to do it. And I think what's cool is a lot of WNBA players are really trying to hold out to have like I don't want to be a part of of the
right.
NBA All-Star game. Like we should have our thing.
Yeah.
And they
They don't
do,
have
but
their
it's
own
like
All-Star game?
it needs to be they do have their own, but it's like it feels like they're always tacked on to NBA to get more eyes, which I understand to a degree, but like they're holding out to be respected more, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's happening. Everyone I
It
talked to,
is
you included today, keeps saying that it's really growing a lot.
definitely over the next few years, Detroit, Philly, Toronto, and Cleveland are all getting their own team.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's really cool.
it's happening. I think
Yeah.
Portland too, maybe. I'm
All
not sure
right.
about that. But yeah, it's growing. I think that's really cool. And I hope it's not like growing too fast or anything like that. And like they struggle, but
Right.
It's great. It's a fun time to watch for sure.
Yeah.
So are the Sparks going to be your team if you got into it?
I think so. Like, just because it seems like natural, we
Yeah,
can go to a lot of games here
totally.
and and it feels good to be like a part of the community in the city that you're in.
Yeah,
But I definitely have more research to do. It was hard not to root for
yeah.
Liberty because they were really good.
They're really good. Yeah.
Jones was also like a standout player.
Okay.
He was like amazing.
And like myself, like I I know a little bit about the WNBA, and I'm still trying to learn more about that. I've always been a historically an NBA fan, but
Who's your
I
team?
really love. I'm a Bulls fan,
Okay, makes
so
sense.
yeah, it's I was blessed to grow up in the era of Michael Jordan.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
if you
amazing.
do want to like if you want to dive in, The Last Dance on Netflix is a fun watch.
Really?
Yeah, it's all about the Michael Jordan era
Okay.
of the
I mean,
Bulls.
I love Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
He's an icon, and
yeah, totally.
I love Space Jam.
Absolutely. Grew up with that,
I
yeah.
I did grow up playing NBA Street too.
Oh,
Yeah,
very nice.
which
On
is
the
pretty fun.
GameCube.
It's on PS. Yeah,
Yeah.
play.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a fun game.
So you like break the backboard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ankle breakers is good
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
What
Um,
about what about NBA team? Is there any interest in like are you gonna try and like pick a team or
yeah, I think I should. I mean, Lakers. It would make sense.
yes.
But also Timberwolves because of
That
Andre.
could be cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Bulls fan, but I usually have like other teams that I like to watch. Like I
What
don't
are your
like
other
I do like to watch the Timberwolves.
Okay.
I it's funny as I lived in New York for 4 years, but I didn't really like care to root for either team, the Nets or the Knicks.
Right. Are the Nets kind of like the underdog?
They are because they're in Brooklyn, and yeah, they haven't been very good
Okay.
since they've been in Brooklyn.
Why
Um,
do you think that is?
it's really hard to say because they had good teams theoretically. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't. That's one thing it's really hard to understand with basketball or sports in general is why are teams bad?
Do you think it's because of the coach? Like what's like the most important factor for a basketball team?
I think coaching is definitely a big part of it. I think team chemistry is another huge part of it. Like sometimes because you have so much control in each possession, like you need to get along and you need to know like have be on the same page or else you're just not gonna score enough or
Right.
defend well enough. There's a lot to it, but it's a fun thing, especially if you have like a basketball ally to help you on your journey.
Sam's gonna be my basketball ally.
I love that.
He might not know it, but he's gonna be. We got some
It's
long drives,
amazing.
so
Yeah. Um, cool. And back to music for a moment. I know you got your new album, which just came
yeah.
out, and we started talking because you commented on the album review, and
Yeah, thanks for
you
reviewing.
of course. And yeah, shout out to Mike for reviewing that. That was great. And also you commented on the player comparison.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
how did you perceive that?
Well, I had no idea what it was, and I was with Sam, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Can you tell me what this means?" Like in basketball, and he was like, "It's pretty much like the best player comparison you can get. Like it's a high compliment. Like he's
Yeah.
saying that like you're like you know how to bring a team together and like unify them." And I was like, "Sounds great. Like thanks."
I do feel like it's very on point, definitely for you.
Yeah, and I feel like collaboration, one thing that I feel like watching Friday Night Lights, like seeing, hearing you talk about like what makes a team sort of work, it
Mhm.
is that sort of the collaboration aspect. And to me that is like the most I feel I'm not somebody who's comfortable like stepping out and doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Or like abandoning everyone else to like kind of like take it down the court or whatever. Like
Sure.
which I know that there's a lot of players just from my periphery that both in music and sports where,
Yeah.
people do that, and they're not necessarily team players, but they carry a team. And I feel like there's a lot of band leaders who are like that, you know.
Sure.
And
Definitely.
nothing wrong with that. It's a flavor. It's like a swag. And but I'm more of a like, how can we all like make something with what we have and
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
it the best it can be. And I like being a part of something, you know. And
Definitely.
I like being a part of sort of musically too, when you're surprised by what you make with the people that you're with. And yeah.
Yeah.
So with
Chemistry is huge in both realms.
totally, yeah, and you know, I'm coming up on like kind of 10 years of making songs,
Hmm.
and I've been in so many other people's bands too, and even still, like this tour I'm about to go on, which let me know if you want to come to the Chicago show.
Awesome.
We're playing at the Bottle,
Yeah. I
um,
love the bottle.
and I've never played a Hand Habit show there. I'm excited to come through there.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you know, this iteration of the band is like so different than what it's been in the past. And I feel like my team has changed a lot
Yeah.
over the years, and I've like traded my own players, you know, and
Hmm.
I'm feeling really excited with where the team's at right now. And it's kind of like a lot. It keeps me humble too,
Yeah.
like kind of not just being. I really just want to be in a band, and I always have been, but like bands seem complex, and
Sure.
you know, so many of them break up or like can't make it, and we're in this
Hmm.
era of, you know, the front man or whatever, and the cult of self, and the more I put out records, like the more I want to disappear from that. Um, and and yeah, I feel like with this record, although like yes, I wrote all the music and wrote the songs and like produced a lot of it with Joseph. I do feel like it's been the sort of culmination of like the musical relationships that I've
Yeah.
had over the years, and how to sort of like, you know, there was a couple songs on this record where I definitely didn't think that they were going to come out the way that they did, and they would be so different if it was like a completely different group of people. And I love
Sure.
that about music. And I feel like that's a big parallel with sports that I do feel really excited about and getting into, and like how just one player like getting injured or whatever can really change the whole season and the whole trajectory of a team. Yeah.
Yeah. I love you embracing these analogies. It's
You know,
perfect.
I feel I owe it to your listeners, because I am assuming that most of your listeners on this podcast know a lot about basketball. They have their team, they're really invested, and they like music. So,
Well, what I like about doing this is that I don't come from this in an analytical perspective. I'm not gonna throw out stats and things like that. I just like talking to people and their relationship with basketball and their team.
yeah.
So yeah, I like to keep it very digestible.
Do you think that if I listen to the podcast Indie Basketball, I could learn things about basketball?
Probably. I
Yeah.
and especially if it's like, you found an episode, it's like someone that
Yeah.
was a guest. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's a stepping stone to learn some more.
Any memorable episodes that you would suggest?
If you're looking at if you're
Like,
looking at like the most like kind of like indie head or NBA hoop head
yeah,
people,
hoop
it
heads.
would it would be probably be Josh from Small Black.
Okay.
Um, he has come on for 2 years now, and we do like an NBA draft, like
Cool.
mock draft.
All
Like
right.
who's going to get drafted? Where should they go?
Okay.
Who did the best in the draft? He's been great to have on. Um, another LA native, Nick Thorburn, from Islands and
Oh yeah.
the Unicorns.
Mhm.
He's a big basketball fan. He hoops all the time in LA, like with friends. Um,
Cool.
yeah, there's some good folks, and there's varying levels of interest, and some are more like, oh, I grew up with it, and some are like,
Yeah.
I still watch it every day.
Wow. All right.
It's great.
Well, I think it's such a great idea for a podcast too, because there are so many like I feel like sports and music, you know, there's a lot there.
Yeah. definitely. Um, all right, so the last thing I usually like to do with people is I usually play like a little game, and I'm not going to make you do this because this would be difficult to make you make a band out of NBA players. I don't think I'm not going to make you go there, but I have something else in mind.
Okay, all right, great.
And it's something I've done a few times, and it's kind of silly, but I have I have a bunch of basketball trading cards.
Okay, great.
But I'm doing a thing sometimes where we're gonna pull like an NBA tarot card.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
I love this.
So would you like to like set an intention,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
whether and whether it's music or whether it's like your intention for getting into basketball, whatever it is.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go with the first thing that popped into my mind,
Great. Um, and we'll pull, and then I'm
and
curious
then I'll tell you.
to
Yeah,
know. Yeah. So pick which side to
I
pull
think
from.
the side that's like player. No, the other one.
Okay. Okay. So what we'll just do is I'm just gonna spread them out, and I'm gonna run my finger back and forth, and you just tell me where to stop.
All right,
So we'll go like this.
stop.
All right. So we got Danny Ainge, who is on here the king. He's on the Kings,
All
but
right,
Danny Ainge was more known for being on the Celtics. Like that was like his big thing.
all right.
He was on the Celtics. I'm curious to know what your intention was for this.
Well, my intention was, you know, kind of how do I approach this next tour mentally?
So
Like,
this is a later in his career version,
okay,
and but he was still contributing pretty well. And sometimes in the later in like towards the end of your career, you're not producing as much.
right.
But I mean, this says in this season, he was still averaging almost 18 points a game, which is a great contribution. And I feel like he's a solid contributor to his team. I feel
Okay.
like in my mind to that is like um you've been touring a long time, and I feel like you're not slowing down. I feel like it's just like you're still at full stride, and I feel like it's another on this new team. It's another element to your career.
I like that as like a contributor though, like
Yeah,
because he's not like it's not like we pulled like Steph Curry or
no
like
one's a superstar out here. Yeah,
else superstar. And I always kind of feel sort of that, I'm 35. I've been touring for the past 10 years, minus the 4 years where it was like, COVID kind of
yeah,
disappeared. And I feel like my career, I'm thinking about myself a lot right now because I'm putting a record out, but
mhm,
I was it's kind of a rough job to
yeah,
do, and I'll spare the complaining because I'm about to go on tour, and I'm happy about the music I'm putting out, and I want people to think I'm cool and mysterious, but I'm not that mysterious, and I just like playing music,
yeah,
and I feel like the contributor, if Danny Ainge is like the contributor, I feel like I do have something to contribute, but I'm not like the voice of our
sure,
generation or something. And I think that there's a lot of room for both.
yes, definitely.
That's a really, like sort of like working man's player.
Hmm.
And so I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah,
What was his
perfect.
number on that card?
His number on the team. Ooh, what number was he? Let's see. Number
Oh, he's
7.
the CEO now of the Utah Jazz, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that could be good.
He's stuck around, he's still an integral member of the NBA in general.
Hey, and I'm seeing here that his birthday's 2 days before mine.
Wow.
So
Serendipitous.
that's pretty cool. He's a Pisces.
Awesome. Well, it's been really great talking about this with you, and I appreciate you coming on, even though basketball is not a major occurrence in your life, but maybe it
Yeah.
will be.
But I'm on the cusp though, and I'm not like I hate basketball. That would be
Yeah.
fun though if you had someone who hates basketball. Have
That
you?
becomes more of like a how can I convert you to becoming
Yeah,
a basketball fan? The biggest hater.
yeah. But thanks for having me, and yeah, I really this is inspiring me to get more into basketball too. Where are we at in the season though?
It hasn't started yet.
It hasn't started. Okay.
We don't start till like I think it's mid to late October. So you got some time to like kind of prepare
Okay,
yourself.
great. All right. This is
Yeah,
helpful. All
that's
right.
great. Well, thanks again for coming on. It's been great talking.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah,
Yeah,
hit me up if you want to come to the show.
awesome. Well, hope
Great.
you have a great tour.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Have a great night.
Awesome. See you later.